Well, hey everybody, welcome to the channel. So today I'm hanging double farm gates and I wanted to bring you along just to show you how simple and easy it is. No math method, a few simple tools. Let's check it out. You know when you buy your gates, you're either going to get this lag bolt style or the all thread style. Even on the gates that come with this, a lot of times I'll go ahead and buy these just because I much prefer to adjust these, and they're a lot easier to adjust once you get that gate up and get it hung. These, you basically have to take the gate off every time you need to adjust it. All right, so first I want to show you my opening here. Now, the thing with farm gates is you want them to be lined up, pretty level with each other across that opening. I made one mistake when I was setting my H-braces here, and I'll show you what that is, but it's not a deal breaker. So I'm setting the gate on my high side first. I'm letting that kind of be the overall determining factor in this lower gate. So I've got that one set, and I'll go through exactly how I did that on this gate. I left this one off on purpose just so I can show you how to do it. So basically the first thing you want to determine is how far off the ground you want that gate. Now most of them are designed to be 6 to 10 inches, somewhere around there. You can definitely go higher. You know, it just depends on your situation and the slope here and the terrain that you're going to be dealing with. So if I make this gate 6 inches right here at the base of this gate post, well, my terrain is sloping downhill in this direction. So I'm going downhill at an angle. So if I'm 6 inches down here, I know I'm going to be good on this end down here. That's why I hung that gate over here first. All right, so basically I've got my hinges set to where I'm going to have them, in their final position when the gate is hung. And so what I'm going to do is, go ahead and put my hinges in here. You want your top hinge pointed down, bottom hinge pointed up. And the best way I found is just to measure center to center of these bolts, and that gives you your exact location where you need to drill your holes at. Now this top hinge, I had to modify it just a little bit because of my H-brace, my horizontal H-brace. But I've got it set to where there's enough room in between this bracket and this rail here that I can loosen this up and slide it down, put my gate in the bottom hinge, and then slide this down on the top, slide this up on the top hinge, and then tighten it down. But I know from the first gate I hung that I should be about 33.5 inches center to center on these bolts. And we're pretty much there. I'm gonna have to bring that one down just a little bit more, but it'll work. And so whatever your distance is, center to center of your bolts, that's the distance between your holes on the post. Remember that, we'll need that here in a second. Now the next thing is to determine where your first hole is gonna be. I like to determine the bottom hole, and then you have that measurement between your bolts, and that gives you your top hole. Now no math method, if I wanna be 6 inches off the ground, I can put my 6-inch mark on the bottom of this gate. And so I come up to the center of my bolt, find that, and I'm at 13 inches. So I need to be 13 inches off the ground to my first hole to make this gate 6 inches off the ground. Hopefully that's clear. Super easy technique. I use this when we're working all the time. No math involved, which this is, addition. It's not a big deal, but I can literally decide if I want this gate 10 inches off the ground. I just put the 10-inch mark on my tape measure at the bottom of the gate, come up and find the center of my bolt. I'm at 17 inches. So if I want this gate to be 10 inches off the ground, I would drill my bottom hole at 17 inches. Hopefully that's clear. Super simple, easy way to check it and figure it out. And so once I have that 17-inch mark, say if I wanted that, then I would just go to my post, mark 17 inches off the ground, and then I'd mark my bottom hole. Then I'd come up to mark my top hole. Is that distance we found first from the bottom to the top. All right, as you can see, This is the method you're going to use to determine, basically to transfer your hose from that post to this post. And this is what's going to help you keep your gates lined up from post to post. So I've got a string line ran on my top hole. You can do this on the bottom or the top, it doesn't matter, either one. So I've got a string line ran from my top hole, and I usually do this before I drill holes. That way, if you need to fudge these gates, holes up and down, you can do that before you drill a hole. So I got my string line ran, and I just get my string level to show level, and I transfer that mark to this post. Super easy, super simple. I have used lasers in the past also, that works well. So we marked our top hole with that string line coming from the other gate. And I mean, you could, if your land was flat enough and you knew it was flat enough, you could, you know, just go to each gate post and come up to that 13-inch mark or 17-inch mark, you know, depending on the height of your gate. Mark that on each post and be real close. But I've got enough drop here, and this is a 20-foot opening, that something like that, you probably want to do a string line just to make sure you're going to be lined up. So got the top hole mounted, or top hole marked. And so we know that our center to center distance between our bolts for our brackets is 33.5 inches. So we'll come down. So now we have the overall height and the distance between our bolts, our hinge bolts, marked. The other thing you want to do is just try to level it up. Now you can use a plumb bob. I usually just use a 4-foot level. Now this brace pin here kind of gets in the way, but you can eyeball it pretty close. And we're ready to drill some holes. Typically what I use is just a long auger bit, and that's probably the only downside to having or using the all-thread hinge bolts is you have to have a bit long enough to drill all the way through the post. Like I said, I always just have had these on hand, so it's not been a big deal. I think the bolts for this one are 5/8, and this is a 3/4 inch bit, and it works out about perfect. So I'm gonna look down my fence line here in this brace and pretty much line it up as best I can. Try to get it level. And we'll do the bottom hole just like that, and we've got our holes. So I've got my top hinge bracket loose, and so we should, if everything worked out right and we did our measurements right, we should be able to set this bottom hinge on, and there should be enough space to slide this top hinge up onto our top bolt there. But these are 10-foot gates. These aren't too bad to hang yourself. You start getting longer than this, and it starts getting a little bit harder to do. And sometimes you can put a block at the other end of the gate to set on while you get these bolts in place. Just had to turn that hinge to get that bolt started in there. So now we should be able to slide it up. Basically, I'm just trying to get my bottom hinge out some. I need a little bit more space right here to help that bracket rotate around. So now you can see it'll rotate around. And we can get that up there. Our top bolt. Tighten it up. This end down here is hitting the ground, so I'll just work on bringing that up, and basically I'm gonna take that, either the bottom hinge out or the top hinge in. So I made one mistake on this, and when I was driving these posts, I forgot to account for this elevation change here. And so I drove these posts equal distance in the ground, but what I should have done was stretched my string line from that post over this post so that the heights of both posts would have been equal. That would have made hanging these gates really easy and getting them lined up and level. So I kind of had to make some compromises on my height, you know, between this gate and that gate. And just, you know, these gates set up here aren't level. They are just kind of lined up with each other, and that's just to make it look decent. So essentially, if they were level, the way they're sitting right now, they would be like this, the top of them. So basically what I've done is just brought those together like this. So, you know, if you want level gates, then you can have level gates. I've chose just to kind of line the top of them up so that they look decent when we come back here. So that's the route I took. And but anyhow, that's how you hang double gates. Like I said, if I hadn't messed up on this one post here, I could have lined these up perfectly level across the top of them, but not a big deal. I got a little bit happy with the post driver. I was having a lot of fun. Well, all right, there you go. Hopefully you enjoyed this video on hanging double gates. A few little tricks there that I've kind of come up with that seem to work well for me. And so if you enjoyed this video at all, please hit that like button for me, subscribe, comment, share, you know the drill. Anyhow, that's it for this video. Hope y'all have a blessed day and a blessed week, and we'll see you on the next one.